Some media stations try to give the impression they are fair and balanced when debating an issue. But notice how, in the following clip, that BECK completely debunks the 9/11 truthers, even after Larry Silverstein admitted that he brought down World Trade Center Building 7 by demolition.
Brace yourself, America. I agree with Bill Maher. Anybody who thinks that 9/11 was carried out by the government isn't a truther. They're idiots. Can you actually imagine that our government was capable of successfully pulling off 9/11 and then keeping it off of the front page of the New York Times? No.
I don't think that the entire Bush administration pulled off the attacks, but I do think they knew it was going to happen and played their part. For example, Dick Cheney was at NORAD overseeing a war game that happened to be played on that day that was not even mentioned in the 9/11 Commission report that purposely confused air traffic controllers of what they were seeing on their radar screens. And let us not forget how George W. Bush mysteriously sat for 7 minutes after he was told that America was under attack. It was as if he was playing a part in a scripted movie.
But 12% of Americans are just dumb enough to believe that that's exactly what happened with the U.S. government taking down the World Trade Center, at least number 7. Actually, more Americans think that than think that Congress is doing a good job. I'm not kidding. These truthers are exactly the kind of people who want to rock this nation's foundation, tear us apart, and plant the seeds of dissatisfaction in all of us. Michael Shermer is a founding publisher of Skeptic magazine and executive director of the Skeptic Society. And James Meigs, he is the editor-in-chief of Popular Mechanics.
Notice how, again, there is no 9/11 truthers on the show, and that he has 2 other people that completely go along with his views. Is there anything fair and balanced about this? And don't you find it odd that it seems that they are purposely keeping members of the truth movement off network television? BECK isn't a journalist, he has admitted that, but when presenting a case, shouldn't all the facts be presented to the jury, or in this case, the public, so they can make a decision? But this is not the case here. The public is continuously being fed propaganda and lies, and if it didn't happen like network host says it did, then it must never took place. Did you notice also how he calls anyone who don't go along with the official story as being dumb?
Americans are just dumb.
Or an idiot.
Anybody who thinks that 9/11 was carried out by the government isn't a truther. They're idiots.
The same way that Rado did.
Oh, get a life. Every nutjob, group of misfits behind me.
And then of course, we have Bill O'Reilly that just tells people to just shut up if they don't go along with an official story.
I know what I was doing? Shut up.
Please don't tell me to shut up. Jimmy Carter should do is privately give Mr. Bush's opinion and shut up publicly. That would be best for the country.
And it is our duty as loyal Americans to shut up once the fighting begins.
Once the war against Saddam begins, we expect every American to support our military, and if they can't do that, to shut up.
Perhaps there is something to Rosie O'Donnell's spoken words here.
Nearly everyone in this administration is under indictment or suspicion. Nearly every person. From Karl Rove to Rumsfeld to Gonzalez. What do you have to do to get impeached in this country? What do you have to do?
Come into your office. That's what you have to do.
But even you worded a war on terror. I think personally that is propaganda.
Exactly, Russiagate. Thank you.
I don't like the wording of it like that.
Because it makes people into evil and good.
I'm sorry, but the people who...
And a no-bid contract for 5 years, Halliburton, wait a second, $16 billion. You want to know why we'd go into Iran? For the money.
Listen.
That's why we would do it. And that's corrupt.
What is oil?
In America, we are fed propaganda, and if you want to know what's happening in the world, go outside of the U.S. media, because it's owned by 4 corporations. One of them is this one. And you know what? Go outside of the country to find out what's going on in our own country, because it's frightening. It's frightening.
I think
democracy is threatened in a way it hasn't been in 200 years, and if America doesn't stand up, we're in big trouble.
What will ABC do with this woman?
And what should America do to stations like this?